I was reborn in a post-apocalyptic world full of zombies. I didn't seek refuge. Instead, I sneaked into the ruined city and opened. There's a post-apocalyptic shop there. All because the golden system has become attached to me. Trade. As long as I have gold. I am omnipotent. Right now a crowd of zombies has surrounded my store. I just washed these windows yesterday. You guys have absolutely no idea about cleanliness. Then I took out a spray can and sprayed it once. At the crowd of zombies behind the glass door. The next second, a restless and frantic crowd of zombies. As if she froze, as if someone pressed pause. They were dumbfounded and stopped moving, and then, as if seeing something terribly scary, his sworn enemy rushed into the scattered area in panic. Out of horror, they even began to trample each other. In an instant, the entrance to the store became empty. There was no one left within a radius of 10 meters. System notification, Cleaning Agent 4. Expulsion of evil spirits was successfully applied. 1 unit used. The balance in stock is 99. I didn't even look at the street, I just turned around and continued to place the chewing gum on the shelf. Each pack must face up straight. Side forward. The deviation and angle should not exceed 4 degrees. Master help. Save. The man's face was white as a sheet. Gathering his last strength, he crawled behind the handsome man. Cash register. The man extended his whole right hand, with nails full of black dirt, trying to grab my pant leg. I took a step back, as if dodging his dirty hands. There was not a drop of sympathy on my face. Welcome. I pointed to the sign at the entrance. Our store does not lend. In addition, there is an additional charge for soiling the floor. Cleaning fee. The man was taken aback. I have money. I have money. Trembling, the man reached into his bosom and pulled out. Wet wallet, pulls out a whole armful of red bills, and the performance throws them on the counter. 10,000, 100,000. All of you. The bills are scattered across the counter. I hold out. Finger, with a light click I brush away the stickies standing from my sleeve. 1 banknote. I'm sorry, sir. Our store does not accept waste paper. You should know the current exchange rate. I point my finger to the electronic. There is a display above the cash register. There is no advertising on it. Just a running line of blood red color. Exchange rate for today, 1 gram of gold is equal to 1 point. Neural water, 500 milliliters, 5.7 points. Noodles with stewed beef in a glass, 10.7 points. Basic antibiotic, 1 tablet, 50.7 points. The man's pupils narrowed sharply. Gold. So this is gold. On the 7th day after the start of the apocalypse, most people were still fighting for bread and water, and gold have long been considered trash and thrown on the side of the road. The man began to feel himself in despair. Suddenly he, as if he remembered something, and abruptly tore off the golden neck chain. It was their wedding symbol, a very thick gold chain. The man threw the gold chain onto the counter with a roar. Without differences in my view, finally a little melted. I took this gold chain, and with the usual movement, put it real, next to the cash register, precise electronic scales. A red light flashed on the scales. Carat gold, weight 52 grams. Minus the 10% commission, that's 46 and 80 points, mine. Fingers ran over the cash register keys. A pleasant click of a mechanical keyboard, plus a board. For cleaning the floor, 5 points. Your current balance, 41. And 80 points, water. I need a cure. Its vitality is fast. And flogged. I turn around and take a bottle from the shelf behind me. Mineral water, and then from under the counter, from a small, locked with a key, he took out a red capsule from the box. Water, 5 points. This is an emergency adrenaline capsule produced by System. For the next 30 minutes, she'll let you not feel pain and stop bleeding. Price, 35 points. Points left. I advise you to buy ham sausage with them to restore strength. I placed all 3 items on the counter at the same time. Taking the red scanner in his hands, he pointed it at the gold chain. and a red beam flashed, which passed over the heavy gold decoration. It suddenly disappeared, turning into a stream. Golden light that flew straight into the cash register. Apparatus. A green check mark appeared on the cash register screen. The deal is completed. The man had no time for shocks. He grabbed the capsule and threw it into his mouth, unscrewed the cap of the bottle, and began to drink greedily. Almost instantly, his deathly pale face took on a strange purple. The blood from the severed hand actually stopped. He was breathing heavily, greedily tearing off the package of candles. Sausages. The man looked at me. His gaze changed. In him, despair was replaced by greed and reverence. Who are you? What are you? I put my headphones back on, took a rag and continued. Wiped down the counter that just got this dirty. Man, I'm just a cashier. I pointed to the door. Mealtime is over. Please leave the store. It will come soon. Next client. The man turned around and was horrified to discover that behind the glass door, the zombie crowd that had recently dispersed has begun again. Going to. And this time behind them, several people armed. Steel pipes and urine appeared from the darkness. Their gazes were fiercer than those of zombies. They did not take their eyes off this brightly lit our store. The rain has stopped, but the smell of blood is in the air. Became even thicker. That man with the broken arm, his name was Wang Tsang. In the end, he never dared to stay in the store, even though this place was safe, like heaven. But in the cold gaze of the young manager, he read something more terrifying than the zombies themselves. If you don't follow the rules, the consequences will be very serious. Wonkin did not have time to run away from the store in 50 meters, as he was knocked down by several people. Jumped out of the shadows. This kid just went in there and came out alive. He has food in his hands. I definitely saw it. This is a ham sausage. Several dark figures growled in the night. Like a pack of real hunting dogs, Wang Tsang. He didn't even have time to resist when he was stunned by a blow. Clubs. Just bought half a bottle of water and started dinner. The sausage was immediately taken away from him. At their head was a bald man. His name was Brother Da. He was the leader of local petty bandits after the beginning of the apocalypse. Thanks to his cruelty and ruthlessness, he quickly gathered a gang of thugs around him. Brother. Yes, what kind of place is this? I haven't seen it before. My brother licked the greasy spots from the sausage packaging. He looked greedily at the visible. Nearby, a brightly lit store, that guy just. That I paid with a gold chain. I saw the owner. This store needs gold, little gold. This crap is still worth the money if it's. You can exchange it for food, so it's good for money. Guys, follow me, and remember, we are pros at robberies. If this shopkeeper will not understand in a good way, he spent. Finger to the throat, 7 or 8 big guys with guns. Hands. Untied gate headed towards the store. Welcome. I didn't even raise my head. That's it. With the same rag that seemed to never wash off. I continued to polish the counter. Gentlemen, as I entered. To the store, please wipe your feet, Matt. In progress. Yes, he kicked the shelving with force. Several packs of chips fell noisily onto the floor. He stepped on a pack of foxes and crushed them. There was a loud crunch. What the hell? Legs? Yes, he slammed the vise on the counter. Even the radio receiver jumped from the powerful blow. Come on, lay out all the grub, quickly. I stopped throwing away and slowly raised his head. My expressionless eyes calmly looked at Yes. It was like I was looking at a talking corpse. Damage to goods. 1 pack of chips with original flavor. Cost 15 points. Repairing a scratch on a counter costs 50 points. Insulting an employee. Compensation for moral damage 100 points. My voice was flat, without the slightest emotion. It even sounded. There was a note of professional politeness. Total 165 points. You will pay by card or cash. I'm sorry, we only accept gold at the moment. There was deathly silence for a second, and then everyone burst out laughing. Has this guy gone off the rails? And there's also compensation. For moral damage, I'm so moral to you now. I'll cause damage. Listen, open your eyes, it's mine. There's a visor in your hand, not a credit card. Don't believe that I'm about to chop you into pieces for zombies? They grabbed me by the collar. I even lifted my toes off the floor. But the expression on my face did not change. I just sighed softly, and his gaze turned to somewhere into the void. The system is activated. Level 1 violation detected. Threat. Use of violence. Attention. Violence was recorded in the store. The first level of violation was assigned. The response protocol is physical expulsion. Yes, Gabe Shell, what the hell is this? Before he could finish speaking, he was on the ceiling of the store. The seemingly ordinary ceiling lamp suddenly turned over, exposing the black barrel. No, it wasn't a blow. More like a miniature turbine engine. At the same moment, a terrifying invisible force fell upon them. Gravity. He fell heavily to his knees. There was a distinct crunch of his bones. A piercing scream broke the silence of the night, and not only before AG, his 7 or 8 henchmen, that they entered with him. In an instant, they found themselves pinned to the floor by this terrible force. Their faces were pressed into the tiled floor. They could not even lift a finger. They felt as if their insides were about to be squeezed out. The weapon in their hands was simply mangled, and I, standing behind the counter, was not hurt at all. I straightened the collar he grabbed and took the red one. Scanner walked around the counter and approached the man standing on knees to AG. I told you, violence is prohibited in this store. I squatted down. The red beam of the scanner illuminated. His face twisted in horror. According to the third rule of the instruction manual, store apocalypse, the one who is trying to commit robbery loses all valuables that has with him. As compensation, it is also entered blacklisted, banned for life, and I held out hand and rummaged in his pocket to AG a gold ring and 2 gold teeth that I knocked right out of him. Mouth. The system has determined that gold is accepted, and another expensive watch and gold ring for grams, gold. Tooth. 8 grams, watch with impurities. Rolex, sorry, no gold. The system does not accept. In disgust, I took this priceless roller and threw it to the floor. I only took the gold. To compensate for those 165 points, you are still owes our store 30 points, but since you sacrificed 2 teeth, this time so be it. I forgive you. I stood up, looked at the ceiling, and snapped my fingers. The terrifying gravity immediately turned into a repulsive one. Force, as if shot from a cannon. Brother Die and his whole gang, an invisible force simply thrown out the door of the store. They splashed with all their might into the mud on the wet after Rain Street. The glass doors of the store slowly closed again, shielding me from external noise. I returned to the counter and looked at the scattered. Have the chips, shook his head helplessly, took broom and started sweeping. Well, I can't go like that. Transfer. It's a shame. And at this time, outside, Brother Dew with a broken leg began to suffer, lying in a dirty puddle. In the surrounding darkness they lit up. Countless pairs of green eyes, recent screams, and the smell of blood. They've already attracted zombies from half the block. The next morning, on the street, in the distance you could see several skeletons gnawed clean. They testified to the madness of the previous night. I sat on a high stool behind the counter, turning hand scanner, and looked at the data on the system panel. Current store level, 1, order points collected. Gold 58, required to upgrade 1,000 points. Only 58 points? Yeah, the worst of them are survivors. They're completely. There are no stocks, and at this very moment the store door opened again, and this time he entered. It was a girl in a school uniform when she saw shelves filled with a variety of goods. Her wariness immediately gave way to astonished numbness. Her name was Sud Zijia. She used to be a promising athlete. When the end of the world came, she was just at school. Sud Zijia walked carefully to the counter and put her hiking backpack on the floor. One guy, with a torn-off arm, he was dying on the corner streets. Before he died, he told me about this place. Court Zades took a deep breath and unzipped her backpack. A bright golden light instantly illuminated my lifeless eyes. This hiking backpack was full of the most various gold jewelry, gold bracelets, gold necklaces, gold earrings, and even several hefty gold bars. Suzietza scratched the back of her head in embarrassment. I smashed the window. Jewelry store next to the school. I thought that these things may come in handy in the future, so I carried them. Everything with me. My eyes immediately lit up. It was the look of a capitalist who saw a sucker. Oh no. Seeing a valuable client, I quickly took out electronic scales. I accept everything. My voice has even become a little softer. I'd like to trade this for food. And one more thing. Do you have any weapon, otherwise the blade? My axe became completely dull while I feverishly weighed and scanned, listening to the wonderful PP cash register. I simultaneously quickly looked through in my mind, recently, a section of special items that has opened in the system. Only 3,500 grams of gold. Minus the commission, you now have 3,157 points, I said. A stunning figure. Congratulations, you are now our VIP client. Then how much instant noodles do you have? Can you buy instant noodles with this? Don't underestimate your wealth. I smiled mysteriously. Turning around, I headed towards the rack in the very depths. Store, this rack, it just appeared today. In the morning, he was enveloped in a light black haze. I reached out my hand into the black haze and took out a long, black box. Then I put it on the counter. F-class item, silent frying pan. I opened the box. Inside, there was an ordinary-looking frying pan, exactly like Hong Talent's, exact copy, price, 500 points. The trial with the Zijiao was absolutely confused look. Listen here. I took the frying pan and lightly tapped the counter. She didn't make a single sound. Just a dull vibration. The main property of this frying pan is absolute noiselessness. It doesn't matter why you hit her. Even if you break zombie skulls or beat into a huge bell, she will not make a sound. In a world infested with zombies with sensitive hearing, you understand. What does it mean? Sazai's eyes widened, which means silent murders. This means silently mowing down whole crowds of them. And then there's this. I took out a bottle that looked like perfume. The liquid inside was a disgusting inky green. Colors. F-class item. Own camouflage spray. Price 800 points. Spray it on yourself, and you will exude the stench of the zombie king. Ordinary zombies, sensing this smell, will read. You like your own father. The duration of the effect is 30 minutes. Side effect, you will feel it yourself. It stinks, and it won't wash off even if you wash it for 3 days. Contract. These are not just some supplies, these are superpowers. Something else is needed. Stockings have just been delivered to our store, which never breaks. Its strength is comparable to body armor. No, probably not necessary. I'll have a box of cola. Cold. And just at the moment when this big deal was about to take place, there was suddenly a deafening sound outside the store. Engine roar. Not a car, but an armored car. I raised my head and looked out the window. There was some kind of modified, heavy SUV, covered with steel sheets and studded with spikes. He roared through the veil of rain and I braked suddenly at the entrance to the store. The door opened, and a man in tactical fatigues came out. In a vest and dark glasses. It was the most influential survivor of the area, leader of the local base. Chen Yin. He took off his glasses and looked at the sign. Store. A playful smirk appeared on his lips. Interesting, it must have opened in such and such a place. Shop. Chen Yin walked towards entrance. He saw a girl, the essence of Zijie, who. I was just making a deal. Leave your gold. And this frying pan, and you can get lost. The court Ziza was completely numb, her fingers clutching into a frying pan, turn white. I sighed and put down the box of cola. Today's earnings look set to exceed expectations. I pressed the red button under the counter. In the corners under the ceiling of the store, there are 4 inconspicuous cameras. The observations suddenly revealed themselves. 4 silver-white ones advanced from them. Metal barrel. A dangerous blue light thickened in the muzzles at the same time. dish blue light barrier that looks like an inverted bowl instantly covered the entire area of the bites, covering me, and the trial with the hair, but Chunyin also turned out to be not from timid 10. The moment he saw it appear out of nowhere. Strange light barrier, years spent in cruel battles, forced him to instinctively pull the trigger. The machine gun spewed out flames, and they flew in all directions. Sleeves. A deafening shot echoed through the clothes. To the store. Susa crouched down screaming, clasping her head in her hands, thinking she was finished. However, what happened in the next second was completely changed Qinyang's worldview. These rapidly flying bullets, having touched that, the thinnest-looking blue one, like a cicada's wing. Light barrier, did not collide with it and did not bounced off. They, like stones, were thrown into the water and silently dissolved. Yes, exactly, the solid copper bullets dissolved into. Moment of contact with the light barrier, turned into puddles of golden liquid. They slowly flowed down the surface of the barrier and dripped onto the counter, catching them in the form of small metal lumps of irregular shape. What kind of witchcraft is this? Chunyan's eyes widened, looking at him in disbelief. Gun in his hand. This is not witchcraft, this is technology. Being behind the light barrier, I didn't even get down. From a high chair, Yuchi was still calm. The system has detected hostile intent. Activation of Level C security protocol, disarmament, and punishment. For metal tubes on the ceiling. For red lasers were sharply fired. Rays. The red rays were not aimed at people, but definitely hit. Weapons in the hands of Qinyang and his 4 bodyguards. 5 almost simultaneously screamed in pain and dropped. Weapons, the same ones that were formidable just a moment ago. Machine guns and urine, even before you fall on. Floor, have already turned into a pile of twisted metal. The trunks drooped like noodles, and all the internal. The mechanisms completely melted, damaging the store's property. The tiles on the floor are burned by hot bullet casings, malicious attacks on the cellar. I took the calculator and started clicking the buttons. 5 rifles. Their value at the price of scrap metal will be used as compensation. You still need to pay. Either everyone leaves a finger, or you pay. Ransom of 500 points. Dead silence reigned in the place. Those 4 bodyguards were simply petrified. They looked at the smoking scrap metal on the floor. Their knees were shaking. What a store this is. This is a real fortress from the future. But Chunyin suddenly calmed down. He glared at me, then looked at this indestructible light barrier. The furious gleam in his eyes quickly faded. Suddenly Chunyin spoke. His voice was hoarse but firm. I will cry. He abruptly tore the massive gold chain from his neck, took off all the gold rings from his fingers, and even ordered, to your people behind your back, give away all the gold they had. The 4 bodyguards looked at each other, but disobeyed. Didn't dare. With shaking hands they collected a whole mountain of gold. Chunyin pushed the pile of gold towards the counter. His gaze was burning. This is not just a payment for damage. For everything else I want to buy goods. I want to buy something that will make me stronger. I removed the light barrier. Smart choice. I picked up the scanner. A red beam passed across the gold's chest. In total, after deducting compensation, you are left with 4,200 points. I looked at Qinyang. Would you like to buy water and bread? Or do you want to look at the real product? Qinyang took a deep breath. I need that frying pan that girl bought me. Is there anything better? The frying pans are out. But since you showed such sincerity, I recommend something worthwhile for you. I took out from under the counter, at first glance, an ordinary green aluminum can. It had a drawing of Salocha spinach on it. F-grade consumable. Can America pay a spinach? Eat it. Over the next 10 minutes your strength will double. The feeling of pain will disappear and the skin will become hard. Like steel. Ordinary zombies won't bite through it. Price. 1,700 points per jar. Qinyin's breathing became heavy. The strength doubles. The skin hardens. It's that simple. Created for close combat and brutal fights. I'll take it. Give me 4 cans. I finished with a smile. Deal. Come again. Chainai took 4 cans of spinach and looked intently looked at me, and then turned and walked away together. With his people, Approaching the door, he suddenly stopped, turned around, and said, "Hey manager, it's all gold. And these parts will soon be mine, so save it for me your product."